Hi there. I'm back again in the Abusers series, and today I want to speak specifically about abusers and dating. And under the safe relationship chaining umbrella, I always emphasize quite strongly the importance of being aware in this initial process where the victim could be potentially being drawn in through seduction or compliments, sex, various ways that a victim can be drawn in, innocently believing that they are entering a type of relationship, if you will. But the initial stage is important in my opinion and my experience, because it is the setup period, if you like, the period where the victim is being drawn in, potentially, and where we need to have our conscious awareness, antennae, on high alert. At this time, it's not that we need to be overly wary or we need to be frightened or anything like this. It's really just about being very sensible, being aware, being clued up, going out there being tooled up, having our safe relationship training toolbox with us and maintaining that toolbox at a high level. So it's really all about remaining conscious. And in the initial stages, an abuser will often look for someone who is vulnerable enough and who will further down the line come in alignment with their agenda. So that initial stage of the process where the abuser is looking for someone, potentially targeting someone, they may have done their research on that person, they may know who that person is before they go in, and so they may be very clued up as far as the potential victim is concerned. So in the initial stages, as far as we are concerned, as far as our own safe relationship training is concerned, we need to be aware of certain things anyway before we go out. And safe relationship training, from my perspective, the way I like to teach the concept is to do with us being responsible, stepping up to the plate and doing what we need to do, rather than living by default. So one of the areas that an abuser may target is the innocent victim, someone who is much younger perhaps, someone who is less aware, someone who is very, very trusting, someone who possibly may become very dependent easily, or is easily manipulated, easily controlled. They're less likely to want to invest time in someone who's going to be hard work and who isn't going to come up to the plate at the end of the day and give them the abusive situation they want, because that's just a waste of time. So if you're worried sometimes about being rejected by certain men or women, it's possibly because you're not someone who is going to come in line, someone who's not going to be brought under the thumb, and they can generally suss that out when they first meet you. So we need to be aware that, it could be our own insecurities which may make us vulnerable, because we don't want to be rejected by people. So that's where our own personal development comes in. The other thing to be aware of is that an abusive or dysfunctional person may generally set up a mask. They may have done this many times. They have the mask firmly in place in the initial stages, and it's only after they become very secure in the relationship, secure that you're not going anywhere, that you may see that mask come off. And that may come off initially in a very slow way, a subtle way, just to see if you'll handle some of the abuse, whether you'll take it, whether you'll take the criticism, whether you'll come in line with it. In other words, whether you'll accept it, and they can gradually build up the abuse in intensity over time. If you're not going to be groomable, if you're not going to want to come in line with any of this stuff, you put up too many barriers, make too much trouble, make life hard work for them, they're less likely to want to carry on. You could find yourself being dumped and what have you, and think, what did I do? You know, it could possibly be that you didn't want to come in line with the abuser's agenda. So we've got the beginning there, we've got the seduction phases, we've got ourselves on high alert as far as who this potentially person can be, looking further down the line as far as a committed relationship is concerned potentially. Have we got the awareness in order to actually walk away? Are we able to suss out who someone is? Are we able to look for the signs? Which one of the signs that I always look for, which is a big red flag for me, is when the person is actually criticizing other people a lot, criticizing you, even potentially on the first date, could be criticizing you, you know, your hair, colour of your nail varnish, your makeup, your dress, these sorts of things, whatever it is. Good idea to just keep an eye out for some early warning signs, because the earlier we identify something, the more time we have to get out, and the less time we've actually invested in the situation in the first place. Because the longer we're investing in a situation, then the more chance there is that we're being hooked in, we're being solidified, we're being embedded, and we can't get out as easily. So that's important to remember in this dating stage. So, in the initial stage, if we've got our dating antennae up, okay, we've got our dating smarts with us, we may be able to, if we're clued into our own soul, be able to spiritually discern that there's something not quite right with this person. We may not be able to identify specifically what it is at that time, but we may have a sense, a feeling of unease, something that doesn't feel quite right, but we don't know what it is. So at that time, we can stand back, we can hold fire, we can not necessarily make judgments, but we can just take care of ourselves in the process and make note of that feeling in our Safe Relationship log. Go to the website below. You can download your own free template there. You can use that so that you can record what you need to record regarding those first initial dates, especially something that doesn't feel right, something that has jarred your spirit and has been a wake-up call, if you will, to take a further look at this person and to possibly hold back a bit on the dating process. So I hope that's of use to some people out there, and as always, stay safe and very happy. Bye-bye.